Have you seen this? Donald Trump is such a bad president.
Oh my God.
I know, right? I miss Obama so much.
I know. I miss Woodrow Wilson.
What?
Who's Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson was such a good president.
What did he do?
He was so helpful, so influential on women's rights, women gaining the right to vote.
How do you even know this stuff?
Women haven't always had the right to vote?
Are you kidding?
No.
No. What are you talking
Guys,
about?
we have not been able to vote for more than 100 years yet.
Really?
I don't think that's right.
I had to write a paper on women's right to vote. I know this.
Okay.
Okay, no, you're not gonna believe me. Let me just show you the video that I had to watch. It's from the time period.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome to 31 News Today. I'm your host, Emulanius. Today's Saturday, December 10th, 1920. Let's go ahead and get our political section started. Today's program will cover much of recent political history, with an interview with NAWSA President Carrie Chapman Catt and an interview with civilians affected by recent changes in government policies. As we know, in 1910, only Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Washington, and Idaho gave women the right to vote, which led to activism, new strategies, and the rebirth of the national movement. There were women like our next guest who were level-headed, peaceful, and well thought out, and others like Lucy Burns and Alice Paul who formed the National Women's Party, which pressured the federal government. Our first guest, Carrie Chapman Catt, is the president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association. As the successor of Susan B. Anthony, Catt took charge of the association. She organized New York's Women's Suffrage Party, was a huge campaign leader, and much more. Let's bring her out.
Hello. Nice to meet you and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Let's get started on what you've done. Let's talk about what your plans were when you returned to the NAWSA and what the association is really all about.
The NAWSA is actually the National American Women's Suffrage Association and was founded in 1869. It was created with the intent of advancing women's rights. When I took over after Susan B. Anthony, I had 5 tactics: painstaking organization, close ties between local, state, and national workers, establish a wide base of support, cautious lobbying, and gracious ladylike behavior. All of these together were an unstoppable plan.
Sounds like it. Now, all of that happened in what year exactly? Was it 1915?
Yeah.
And tell us what the 19th Amendment is and what it was really like for you when Congress finally passed the amendment in 1919 and ratified it in 1920.
The 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote. It was obviously such an amazing feeling and a huge step for our country. It was so promising after all the hard work that myself and other men and women put in. It was so amazing that we finally reached this after 72 years after the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, where women first convened and demanded the vote.
I bet. Thank you so much for joining and speaking with us today.
Yes.
Looking at politics in the business world, Wilson's passage of the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914 made strikes, peaceful picketing, and boycotts legal. During Wilson's second term, these strikes and boycotts grew in popularity due to the passing of this act. Here are some clips of strikes, picketing, boycotts, and violent protests. Now to our interviewer, Jayden Martins, who is joined by Colleen Smith, a local taxpayer.
Thank you, Emma. Here with me today we have Colleen Smith, who is ready to give her opinions about the change in federal finances.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Explain to our viewers what the FTC is and how it has affected America over the past 6 years.
The FTC, founded in 1914, is the Federal Trade Commission. The agency helps prevent monopolies and sets truth in businesses and advertising. During Wilson's presidency, the FTC helped prevent almost 400 companies from illegal activities.
And what are your opinions on the tax reforms during Wilson's presidency?
The new tax reforms increased the taxes on citizens like myself. Under this, the taxes were set by the income of the person. Wealthy citizens paid more, which was an incredibly controversial decision. I personally did not experience a tax raise, but it causes the government to get more money than it ever has, and it takes it away from people who worked hard for it. So I'm against the new tax reform.
But with this new system, it changed the way banking ran, correct?
Yes, it established loans and the new Federal Reserve. And the new Federal Reserve banks could transfer money to member banks and protect the money in people's accounts. It was also unstable with periods of inflation and recession.
Great. Thank you for talking with us today.
No problem.
And our last guest today is a citizen who just voted for their first time, and her name is Elise Jones. That's right, this is the first election in which women have the right to vote. Let's go talk to her.
Hi, I'm here with Elise Jones, who voted last month under the 19th Amendment. Tell me about the amendment and how you felt.
The 19th Amendment is what gave myself and other women the right to vote. It was such a big step, and it feels great to finally be able to be a part of an election and start to be heard.
And do you think the vote of the women will affect who is elected in the future?
Of course. Women have already started to be heard, and I firmly believe that our votes will have great impact on our future presidents. Women have spoken up for the right to vote, and with this new power, I believe we can achieve much more.
And with that, do you personally have any wishes or dreams that you hope to achieve?
Obviously, I'm ready to fight even harder for the equality of men and women. In doing so, I believe that we will see more women in high-ranking positions. It would be a dream come true to see a woman as our president.
Do you think that will happen eventually?
Yes, I do. It may not be in the near future, but every day we make small advancements that will add up in the grand scheme.
I sure hope so. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jaden. We've covered a lot in today's show. So to recap, we interviewed Carrie Chapman Catt, who is the president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association. She helped lead the movement towards women gaining their right to vote. We then visited interviewer Jaden Martins with Colleen Smith, a local taxpayer. We got her opinions on the new changes in federal and local taxes. To close the episode, we talked with Elise Jones, a woman who just voted for the first time in our recent election of 1920. Elise had strong opinions about the future of our country with the power the women now hold. Thanks for joining us. That's all for today's politics. Enjoy the rest of the program and have a great day.